Welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
Gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small.
Why, hey there, and welcome to episode 110 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you, as always, for lending me your ears today. I know you have lots of choices out there, and I really do appreciate you making my podcast one of your choices. I am, of course, the host, Jen Donovan, a marketing thought leader, digital strategist, and coach for small businesses, and just an all-round small business lover, really, with one goal in mind, and that is to make sure that every small business makes marketing a priority in their business, because, frankly, if you want to grow, then you need to market yourself. And today, believe it or not, we are going to talk marketing and the difference between being a guest and a pest. Because so often from small business owners, I hear, I don't want to email too often. I don't want to post too often. I don't want to be in people's faces. I don't want people to get sick of hearing from me. I don't want to do too much marketing, because basically they're afraid of being a pest in their potential clients' inbox or in their social apps. But I have a little revelation for you. The reality is that we live in a really competitive and busy marketplace, and it's going to take a lot for you to become a pest like you think so. Like you think that you are becoming a pest. It's going to take a lot of effort and energy, and you're going to have to post a lot and email a lot to become someone's pest. But there's definitely a line. There is definitely a line between guest and pest, a line of being welcomed as someone's guest in someone's inbox and their screen, and being a very unwelcome pest. So I get that there is a line. But with the busyness of social media, I have to say that if you're talking about a subject over and over and over again, and when you start thinking, oh my goodness, people must be so sick of hearing about this from me, I can guarantee you that this is when you are starting to get traction online. This is when you are starting to have people see it, absorb it, interact with it, purely because the world that we live in, the social world that we live in, and people's inboxes and social media are so busy. So until you have that feeling in the pit of your stomach of, I am so sick of talking about this, I guarantee you that very few people, if any, are thinking that as well. And in fact, it's probably just starting to take off. For me and what I teach for my clients, the line isn't actually as thin as you think it is, especially if you know what information to send and to give to your potential clients or prospects or customers, whatever term you use for them. Because I actually don't think the fear of most business owners is that they will overwhelm their clients and become a pest. I think it's more that they're having trouble getting their messaging and their marketing customer-centric enough to be able to talk often enough that they don't feel like they are being a pest to anyone. Because basically, our marketing needs to be about the customer, not about ourselves. Absolutely, when you are sending or posting all about you and what you do and how long you've been doing it for, and you know how good I am at doing it, if you are constantly posting those sorts of posts and constantly emailing that sort of thing, then 100% you are going to get unsubscribers and people are going to stop putting their eyes on your socials. But just a little side note here, because, when I'm saying, you can't talk about yourself and what you do and how long you've been doing it for and how great you are at it, I'm not talking about storytelling, telling your story or using your experience and your expertise to help or share with your audience. There is a difference between storytelling and using your story to make a point or to give a tip or a trick or enlighten your audience, as opposed to just banging on about yourself. You know the difference. If you really think about it, you know the difference. You've seen it, you've interacted with it, and quite possibly you've unfollowed or unsubscribed from people's emails because of it, because they are constantly telling you who they are, how good they are, and how long they have been doing it for you. But on a second side note, because, it's unlike me to get distracted, on a second side note, about pages on people's website are the worst at this. Seriously, go and count how many times on your website you use the word, on your website, but more so on your About You page, how many times you say the word I or you, I or we or us. Have a look, go and have a count, see how much you're actually using it, because when you start using words like I, me, my, us, it's not customer centric. It is you talking about you. And of course, that's not everyone's favorite subject. Everyone's favorite subject is themselves, because frankly, no one cares who you are or what you do or what or where you are. But what they do care about is, of course, how you can help them solve their problems, what tips and tricks and advice you can share with them that can help solve their roadblocks or challenges or problems. And of course, if you can show them a better way, which I must say is the storytelling element of marketing, showing them a better way, showing them an easier way, showing them how, you've got to where you've got to, and help them not make the same mistakes that you do. That all comes through in storytelling. Even though you're still talking about yourself, it has a bigger purpose. People don't like to be pitched to or feel like they're being sold to. We know that as humans, so we need to make sure that we're not making people feel that as well. People want to be heard. People want to be understood. So if you're getting lots of unsubscribes or feeling like you are a pest, then you need to take a good look at the quality of information you're offering, whether that be through email marketing, social media posts, articles, blogs, whatever you are doing as part of your marketing strategy. You need to have a look at the quality of information you are providing. Is it about you or is it about them? Are you a guest or are you a pest? Like I said, everyone's favorite subject is themselves. So we need to make our marketing to be about our customers and use what I call customer-centric language. We need to make sure that pronouns such as you, your, and yours are being used, as opposed to not using I, us, my, we, me, our, mine, all those that aren't customer-centric languages. So your task today, when we're talking about are you a guest or are you a pest in someone's inbox or on their phones or computer screen as far as social media goes, your task today is go back and have a look at your last 10 emails to customers and have a look at maybe your last 10 social media posts. Have a look at your website and count how many times you're using those words of I, us, my, me, we, our, mine, all those words. Count how many times you're using them in a non-storytelling way. And try to change up the language that you're using. Try to use words more like you, your, and yours, and make it customer-centric language. More about the reader and less about you. Of course, the exception is, like I said, if you're storytelling, because a story is going to provide value or be insightful for your reader, and perhaps even have a call to action for them as well, or a call to arms. So storytelling is different, and I really want you to realize that there's a difference between banging on about yourself and using stories to get your message across. Imagine if my podcast was 110 episodes of me talking about me. Like, you'd never listen again, but it's about you. It's about providing tips and tricks and actions for you to take, hopefully, your marketing to the next level, and hopefully you making marketing a priority in your business to make your business life a little bit simpler. If you are providing valuable information and ideas and advice and tips to your target market, and they find them helpful and insightful and useful, I guarantee you will never be a pest and will always be a welcome guest. So perhaps you're not so worried about being a pest to someone as you are worried about knowing what sort of strategy behind the marketing you would use, knowing what to say to them and how often to say it and when to say it to them. So it's not so much, I believe, that people are worried about being a pest to someone, being in their inbox too much. I think it's more a problem of people are worried about what would they say if they emailed someone once a week. What strategy would they use? What would their actual emails say that would get opened? That, I think, is the problem, rather than thinking you are going to be a pest. So what does your marketing strategy look like? We've talked guest, pest, strategy. So what does your strategy look like to make sure that you're not a pest and you'll always be a guest in someone's inbox, simply by the fact that you are always being helpful and insightful and sharing useful information to your target audience? Now, perhaps you've just belly laughed because you're like, what strategy, Jen? Or perhaps you've just raised your eyebrow in curiosity of what I've said because you're like, yeah, if only I knew what to say every time I posted or what to say every time I sent out an email, I wouldn't be worried about being a pest and worrying about unsubscribes. So if you've thought anything in between either of those things, then maybe it's time for us to chat. I'm not sure whether you're aware or not, but I do have the opportunity for you to schedule a free discovery chat with me, and we can chat about how I can help you in your business and, of course, with your marketing strategy, and take away the anxiety perhaps that you're feeling about being a pest to someone or constantly repeating yourself out there in the big wide world and feeling like, oh my God, people must be so sick of hearing this from me. You can book a call through my calendar link. So it's the URL, of course, will sit in the show notes at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/110. So that is numerals, obviously, not words. Otherwise, you can go to calendly.com/Jen with 2 N's -SMM/discovery. So that's a little bit hard to remember, isn't it? But anyway, you'll find it in the show notes, or I'm sure that you'll see it on social media there as well. But, feel free to come and book in a 30-minute free discovery chat on how I might actually be able to help you get over this guest and pest hurdle. Of course, if you have any questions or queries, head into my Like-Minded Business Owners group. I'm sure that if you've got a feeling or you've got a question, that someone else in that group will also have the same feeling or the same question. And I think it's a really great group to hang out in, because people are always willing to share their knowledge and their expertise and their journey with you. So you can just go to Facebook and search Like-Minded Business Owners and join that group. But of course, that is it for 110. It was all about being a guest, being a pest, and solving that problem for you. I will, of course, be back next Thursday for episode 111. But I really look forward to chatting before then, hopefully in the Like-Minded Business Owners group or Clubhouse or Instagram DMs or wherever it is that you hang out. But have a fabulous week, and I hope you're enjoying this podcast. And you've listened this far, so hopefully you are. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and maybe share this episode with another superstar business owner who's just basically doing this daily grind and would really appreciate someone else making their business life a little bit simpler. If you have time for a rating or a review, especially in Apple Podcasts, I would so appreciate that. Basically, just on your app, keep scrolling all the way down past 111 episodes, and you will eventually get to the place where you can leave a rating and a review. But I'll see you next week. But remember, my small business peep, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
Tell it like you feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are.